Welcome to another episode where the kitchen is your playground. Today, it's all about simplicity and speed with a recipe anyone can master. We're going to dive into a quick and easy pasta dish that is not only tasty, but also perfect for those who are always on the go. Imagine this, a steaming bowl of pasta tossed in a rich, savory sauce and sprinkled with your favorite cheese, all ready in under 30 minutes. Yes, you heard it right, 30 minutes is all it takes to whip up this culinary delight. You'll need some essential ingredients like pasta, of course, a good quality olive oil, garlic for that aromatic kick, canned tomatoes for the sauce, and your preferred cheese for that final touch. This straightforward, no-fuss recipe is as simple as it gets, but the end result is nothing short of delicious. With this recipe in your repertoire, you're never more than half an hour away from a delicious home-cooked meal. Before we dive into the cooking process, it's essential to know our players, the ingredients. First up, we've got the king of the kitchen, the humble onion. This little powerhouse adds a punch of flavor and forms the base of our dish. Next, we have garlic, another flavor dynamo that complements the onion perfectly. Moving on to our proteins, we have chicken. Chicken is a versatile ingredient that absorbs the flavors it's cooked with, making it the star of our dish. Then, we have some vibrant bell peppers. Their sweetness and crunch will add color and texture to our meal. Lastly, we have our pantry staples, salt, pepper, and olive oil. These three musketeers balance and enhance the flavors of our ingredients. Remember, the fresher your ingredients, the more flavorful your dish will be. Don't be afraid to get to know your local farmer's market or grocery store. Now that we have our ingredients ready, it's time to get cooking. First things first, we are going to start by boiling our pasta. Now I know boiling pasta might sound simple enough, but there are a few key steps to ensure it turns out perfect every time. So let's get into it. First off, you'll need a pot, preferably a large one. The reason for this is pasta needs room to move around while it cooks to prevent it from sticking together. Fill the pot about 3/4 full with water. This might seem like a lot, but remember, we're giving our pasta the room it needs to cook evenly. Next up, we're going to add some salt to the water. And I'm not talking a pinch or two. You'll want to add a generous amount, around a tablespoon or so. Why so much, you ask? Well, this is our chance to season the pasta itself, and trust me, it makes a difference. Once you've got your water and salt sorted, place your pot on the stove and crank up the heat to high. We want to bring our water to a rolling boil. This means the water is bubbling vigorously, which is exactly what we need for our pasta to cook properly. Now that our water is boiling, it's time to add the pasta. You'll want to stir it a few times in the first couple of minutes to make sure it doesn't stick together. As for the cooking time, it really depends on the type of pasta you're using. But a good rule of thumb is to follow the instructions on the pasta packet. However, one thing to keep in mind is we're aiming for al dente, which is Italian for to the tooth. This means the pasta should still have a bit of a bite to it and not be overly soft. Remember, we're not looking to overcook our pasta. We want it to have that perfect balance of being cooked through, but still retaining a bit of firmness. And there you have it. You're now a pro at boiling pasta. But don't forget to keep an eye on it. You don't want to get carried away and forget about it. While our pasta is boiling, we can turn our attention to the sauce. While our pasta is doing its thing, we'll begin with our sauce. The heart of any pasta dish lies in its sauce, so let's dive right into it. We'll start with the basics, and that means sautéing our garlic and onions. This is an essential step as it forms the base of our sauce. You'll want to heat some olive oil in a pan over medium heat. Once the oil shimmers, it's time to add your finely chopped onions and minced garlic. The aim here is to cook them until they're just translucent and aromatic. Avoid browning them as it can impart a bitter taste. Next, we're going to add our chopped tomatoes. Fresh, ripe tomatoes are always best, but canned ones will do the trick too. Let them cook and break down until they form a pulpy mixture. This might take a few minutes, but be patient. Good food takes time and love. Now here's where the magic happens. It's time to introduce our spices. Salt, pepper, and if you like a little kick, a dash of red pepper flakes. Remember, seasonings are subjective, so go easy. You can always add more, but you can't take it away. Give everything a good stir, ensuring the spices are evenly distributed. Let's not forget about the star of our show, the basil. Fresh basil leaves add that authentic Italian touch to our sauce. Tear them up with your hands and stir them into the sauce. The heat will wilt them down and release their flavorful oils. Now, reduce your heat to low and let the sauce simmer. This is the part where all the ingredients come together. each lending its unique flavor to create a harmonious blend. It's a good idea to taste your sauce at this point and adjust the seasoning if necessary. Finally, add a splash of pasta water to the sauce. This starchy water will not only thin out our sauce, but also help it cling to the pasta. As our sauce simmers and develops its flavors, our pasta should be just about ready. Now comes the moment of truth, combining our pasta with the sauce. This is where the magic happens. You want to make sure every strand of pasta is coated evenly. So pour the sauce over your drained pasta in the same pot you cooked it in. Give it a good gentle stir, making sure the pasta and sauce become best friends. Now let's talk about serving. You could serve this pasta just as it is, or you could jazz it up a bit. How about a side of warm, crispy garlic bread? Or perhaps a simple salad, nothing fancy, just some fresh greens tossed in a light vinaigrette. The choice is yours. It's all about what you fancy. And there you have it, a simple, quick, and utterly delicious pasta dish that you can whip up anytime. Remember, the kitchen is your playground, so feel free to experiment and make this recipe your own.